Success! Finally! We've been tracking, and they actually went where we didn't think they went. And we actually spotted them from about 300-400 meters down the road, and we were just doing our last attempt. I've just got to be on the Game Drive channel for a second, and this does look like the Nkuhumas with Jeandre. Standing by. Confirm they're lying up on the boundary. Copy, yeah, you'll get our visual as you go through the dip from Gari Cup. So success, the Nkuhumas, hungry Nkuhumas. Look at those empty bellies. I started telling VM that I thought they might be ghost lions, and last night was Halloween because they weren't leaving any decent tracks to follow. So they've actually moved quite a long way from the waterhole and towards Buffelshoek Dam. So probably about halfway between the waterhole and Buffelshoek Dam, right on the northern boundary. Oh, aren't we lucky? They could have moved 50 meters from here and we wouldn't have seen a thing. Look at that stretch. It's amazing how supple their spines are. But they are hungry. Belly's looking quite empty. Okay, let's move around. Unfortunately, I think they might keep moving. And it looks like their general direction is north, which is unfortunately out of our area, but at least we got them before they disappeared. And look, have a look at Junior now. Look how his mane is developed. He's definitely shouldn't be hanging around with them. He's even starting to get a bit of a black tinge to the top. And it doesn't look like he's got any new scars and stuff on his face. It looks like he's been playing the safe game, avoiding all the males in the area. You see all the flies on his body. Those flies can be quite irritating, and with this humid, warm weather we're having, they're going to keep hatching. So I'm just taking some pictures of Junior's face, see if I can see any battle scars, but it doesn't look like it. You can see almost all the lions have their respective swarms of flies. You can see on their nose there. You notice the ears flicking constantly. Those flies are actually biting and feeding off the blood of the lion. You can see there's now a marked difference between Junior and the lionesses, and Jeandre saying, is it the size being distorted on the screen, or is he as big as he looks? He's as big as he looks. I would say he's probably about the same size, if not maybe a little bit bigger than some of the one or two of the younger Birmingham males. And he is looking in fine condition. But as we say, it's very unusual that he would be with the pride still at this age. It's almost solely because of the Birmingham males and the sort of panic that's around at the moment, and all the lions trying to avoid them, and that he's able to stay this long with the pride. So Lynn's wondering, is this the full pride? It is. It's the 4 adult lionesses, the 1 sub-adult, and Junior. So all 6 present and accounted for. You can see there all of them present and accounted for. All looking a little bit hungry. And let's hope they decide to head on towards Buffels Hook waterhole rather than heading further north. Oh, he is a very good looking young male. Doesn't have the scars of life on his nose yet. Quite lucky he's managed to just sort of sneak about and avoid the Birminghams, the Salatis.
He's got 5 ladies looking after him.
Yes, as VM says, he's got 5 ladies looking after him, providing him with good meals. And he definitely takes the lion's share. I mean, he's physically so much bigger than the lionesses already that on any small carcass he will dominate and take probably 80% of the meat if they caught an impala, for example. So in some ways it is a hindrance having him around. And the other problem is that at this age he will definitely try and mate with his mother, his aunts, his sisters. So just going to reposition again a little bit, so Taxon can also join us here. I'm trying to think. Not in the best spot. Let's just make sure the tax has also got some space. And we do have a really nice view of that lioness's face from here. The rest all facing away from us towards the Buffels Hook. Morning. Oh, yeah, my Stupan guard. We've been walking a lot this morning to find them. They jigger in that block, north of the dam. Yeah, apparently it was at Tinkoro. So guys, just having a quick chat with Tax, back with you. look at those flies. Now, some of those flies have migrated from the lions onto us. So if we look there, GM's got Junior in the foreground, and there's the sub-adult lioness, is the one lying at the back. You can see she's just a little bit smaller than the other girls. Oh, those flies. Seems like Junior's got triple the amount of everyone else. And lazy lions. So a while ago when we saw the Nkuhumas, one of the lionesses had a very pronounced limp, and it was just after they killed a giraffe in Buffalo's Hook. So we sort of assumed that she probably got a kick from that giraffe while they were hunting it. And Barbara would like to know whether there's any news on the injured lioness. Well, Barbara, she's one of these lionesses lying here, but unfortunately if they're not moving, I can't see which one and how pronounced the limp is, or if it's got any better. But it is great to catch up with the Nkuhumas, and even though they're looking a bit hungry, they're looking very well. Sorry guys, just got to be on the game drive channel for a second. FF. Confirmed you copied the update about Nkuhumas? We located Nkuhumas on the Buffalo's Hook cut line, probably 200 meters to the east of Gari cut line. Copy, thanks, Ev. Have they heard something? You see their heads just popped up? Wonder what she might have heard. No, I think head's gonna go flop down again. Oh, look at their ears flicking, trying to control those flies. It's actually quite funny. Flies get to a stage sometimes when the lions will actually growl at them and try to swat them and bite them. It looks like Junior's been to the hair salon. Looking very fluffy. So while we're sitting with lions, Eddie Abbey is saying, is there any word on the Birminghams and the Tsalala Pride? Last I heard, the Birminghams were in the east towards Nkoral. I have no idea where the Tsalalas were last seen. I think they were last seen on Arathusa. And also, for those wondering, the Salati males have been found to the north of us, but it looks like they're about to cross back into the Manuleti. Look at the flies on their nose. And I mean, and you see that one going over her whiskers. They have such sensitive whiskers that I don't know how they don't get driven mad by the flies. Oh, there's a comfy line. So, Siberia, one of our zoomies, says, didn't one of these lionesses mate with the Birmingham males about a month ago? Would they be showing signs of pregnancy? Siberia, I'm not sure. There's quite a lot of confusion in the early days of which lioness was mating with the Birminghams. I didn't see it, so I can't confirm nor deny. But what I can tell you, and she's wondering whether we'll see any signs of pregnancy at the moment. Most definitely not. What you find with lions and leopards, when there is a territory shift or pride takeover like we're going through at the moment with the Birmingham males, is that the lionesses, and they can't consciously do this, this is sort of a natural reaction, and it's a sort of a safety mechanism, is that they will come into estrus, what is perceived as a normal estrus, as soon as there's a new pride takeover. But it's actually a false estrus, so they'll actually mate with those males, and then it gives them sort of a 3-month window to see if those males actually stay around, because they might get kicked out and moved. So what that does is it ensures they don't waste all their energy and time raising cubs that are going to be killed again immediately. So it's unlikely we're going to see, at the moment they're not really mating with Nkuhumas. I don't think we're probably going to see cubs for a year, at least, before everything settles down, and then they might start having cubs again. Maybe a little bit less, 7 months, 6 months to a year. Till then, till that young lioness is sort of 2.5, and junior's gone, I can't really see them coming into a full estrus and mating with the Birmingham boys. So, as nice as it is to see Junior, as I said, it's slightly unusual. And Clay is wondering, why would he come back after being by himself at Nkoro and being nomadic for a while? Why would he come... oh, excuse me. Why would he... why would he come back and join the rest of the pride? Well, Clay... very simple. It's so nice and easy for him when he's with the ladies. He doesn't have to hunt, which I'm sure he's been doing by himself now, and much easier to take what is killed for you by the ladies than to do the hunting yourself. So it makes sense sort of from a survival point of view. While he's got the opportunity to take advantage of easy food, he will. Edward saying maybe he tried the lion version of college, didn't like the food, so he came back home to mum. Yeah. Good way to put it there, Ed. Much easier to have mum put it on a silver platter for you than actually go find it yourself. Oh, head up. So, as to who exactly Junior's mother is, it's quite difficult to say. Granny Billy Joe from sunny Florida is wondering, and unfortunately, I mean, Junior was probably already over 2 years old when I arrived, so I can't say for certain which of the lionesses is his mother. Oh, flop. It sounds like we can hear European beaters, but they're very high in the sky. And while we sit here with these very flat cats, we're going to go to Jamie, who's got someone who's in the insect family.
And whilst Brent has found the lions, Jeandre and myself have found a dung beetle. He's only just flown in, and watch him go. He's busy constructing his dung ball. And somewhere there's something shouting as well. There's a squirrel shouting. But let's just watch this little guy work for the moment. Look at him go. Already, in the space of less than a minute, he's starting to form that ball, using his front legs to roll it. It's actually fascinating to watch. Such an efficient process. He's going to roll that up and he's going to use it to attract a female. Look at the way he's using his front feet to shape it and to mold it before scraping more on. Legs working furiously. And then, for any of you who are unfamiliar with the dung beetle process, he's going to roll that off, attract a female, and then go and bury it, and she'll lay her eggs in it, and it provides the perfect source of nutrients for her babies. That squirrel is still alarm calling off to my right. And I think it might be worth investigating in a moment. It's right in a thick block. I'm torn between watching this dung beetle go about his incredible process of rolling this ball, but that squirrel's furious at something. Calling just in here. Let's go investigate. We'll come back to our dung beetle friend. It's very, very thick in here. And as I said before, squirrels are tricky creatures because he could be alarm calling at a leopard, he could also be alarm calling at a mongoose. It is a perfect spot for a leopard to hide in that drainage line. Sorry, dung beetle. As fascinating as that was, we've got to investigate this first. Let's just stop here for a moment. Keep your eyes peeled for flashes of spots. It's gone very, very quiet. This might be part of the great squirrel conspiracy again. He was calling from just inside this drainage line. Just gonna scoot forward a little bit and we'll double check that side. If I can't hear anything, then we'll return to our dung beetle friend and see how big a ball he's going to roll. Friend has gone completely quiet now. I think it is part of the great squirrel alarm call conspiracy. It needs a name. See how many times we can trick Jamie into following our shouts. And then go completely quiet. Don't see anything. Beautiful drainage line though. Alright, well, let's head back to our dung beetle friend who's providing more action than this drainage line is at the moment. Could also have been a bird flying overhead, although I haven't seen any. But squirrels do that sort of thing. Now we've got to find our way back out of here. Oh, I think there's an easy path there. Out onto the road. Now we know oh, excuse me. We know that the leopards were somewhere in this area yesterday. We have to keep our ears and eyes peeled for wherever they're hiding. Let's go see how our dung beetle friend is doing. There, he's just on the other side. Can we get him from here, Jeandre? There he is. And already, just in the space of time that it took us to go and investigate those squirrels shouting, scraped away quite a sizable ball. It's bigger, about the same size as he is already. He's scrabbling away furiously. He's arrived at just the right time. He doesn't have to compete with anybody else for access to the dung. And the more rain that we see, the more flattened piles of dung we're going to see in the road. It takes them only a couple of hours in a really good summer's day after some good rainfall for them to completely flatten a ball of elephant dung like this. And it's interesting, he started on the top and then I think it got to the point where that ball was just too heavy to stay where it was. Scraping away with his front feet and then using the back two as well to just place the dung. And look how meticulously he's doing it. It's also incredible to me to watch the way that dung beetles move. those incredibly powerful front legs. It's bizarre to me that they have evolved to walk on their front feet and push with their back feet, so they can't see where they're going. Oh, don't go that way. Come back. Hold on a minute. We'll get him back. Reposition for a dung beetle. I have to move further. Oh, Wendy doesn't like turning this way. How's that, Jeandre? Is it too close or is it okay? Cool. There's also ants moving all around him as well, monopolizing on the bounty that is a piece of elephant dung. What he'll do is, as I said, he's going to find a mate or attract a female with this stylishly shaped dung ball, and then they will go and bury it, and she'll lay her eggs right in the middle. And dung beetle larvae are huge. There's only really 1 or 2 per dung ball. But it also makes the perfect snack for something like a honey badger. Honey badgers in particular are attracted to the scent, and they dig them up and break them open. Packing away. You're going to go to the other side now, dung beetle. Oh, he's found a particularly good piece there. I think he's found the perfect angle. I wonder, it must be very important to find a fresh dung pile, because you definitely can't shape a ball out of dried out dung. So he's well, it was when we were chasing those alarm calls, you might have heard a bird calling close to us. And Pat, in Nebraska, you are correct. It was indeed a black cuckoo. It's gone quiet now. It's that sound of, and then the secondary call, which I couldn't possibly imitate, but that was indeed a black cuckoo. Sorry, something stuck in my throat. Now this gentleman is doing a fantastic job of his dung beetle construction. I wonder how big a ball he's going to make. Obviously, the bigger the ball and the smoother it is, the more attractive it is for the females. So he's got a serious mission. This is serious business. This is all connected to the passing on of his genes. But whilst he continues to construct his ball, let's head back across to Brent for now with those flat lines, and I'll catch up with you a little bit later.
Okay, guys, I've just heard from Taxon. I made a big joke, and I know a lot of you guys were very surprised that I'm going to be rushing away from these lions. Over from Tax, I'm on my way. What's your position? asked Tax and I said, okay, Tax, I've found you lions, now go find me a leopard. And he just came over the radio and said, I've asked what you've done, I've done what you've asked me to do. So, and it's just down the road, and we haven't seen a leopard in such an age. I am so excited. I wonder who it could be. Yay! It's a cat morning. Them is just laughing at me at the moment. But so the Nkuhumas, I don't think are going to be moving much, and we're definitely not going to pass up the chance to see our spotted cat friend, who I haven't seen in an age. Who it could be. I've just heard who it could be, and this is even more exciting for me because I haven't seen this leopard in a really long time. I'm not going to say who it is. I'm going to let you guys figure it out, and remember, if you do figure it out when we see him, pop their answers through to questions@wildearth.tv or use the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. Definitely a taxon, a large bucket of sweets for this. Oh, we're just going to stop here and give you a long distance view, but isn't that incredible? Look where he's sitting. Oh. Okay, let's get in there. Isn't this exciting? So, literally not even 7 minutes ago, I said to Taxton, I found you lions, please go find me a leopard. And he has delivered. We've got hippos off to our right. Aha. Now, thank you very much, Tax. That worked out quite well this morning.
No, if we do something, you wash my hand, I wash your hand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ask and you shall receive. So.
Just lucky.
And we haven't seen Ingwe for a long time.
Yeah.
So guys, I'm not going to tell you which leopard this is. I'm going to let you guess. And remember, I'm sure a lot of you will be very excited to see this leopard. I haven't seen him in at least 2 months. Oh, isn't that spectacular? Sitting up on that raised termite mound next to the Buffalo's Hook waterhole. And that is the third different leopard I've seen sitting on that exact spot. And actually, the first time I ever walked this leopard on foot was at this very waterhole. So, very exciting stuff. I know a lot of you guys are going to be ecstatic. I think you're ecstatic to see a leopard, but even more ecstatic to see this specific leopard. And just quickly while he's sitting there, have a look in the tree there. And the dead tree there, Viam, for the birders. And we'll keep the mammal junkies happy, and for the birding junkies, there's a pair of woolly neck storks. And off to the right, the hippos. well done to Eddie, Abby, and Kachino John, who have got it spot on. It is Mvula, the dominant male leopard in the northern part of Jeandre, who has lost a bit of his territory recently to Tingana, that male that's pushed in from the west. But nice to see him. I have found his tracks coming in and out often, but I haven't seen him probably in about 2 months. And I know a lot of you are probably worried about that injury he had in his eye. From what I hear, it's completely healed, and we will try have a look. And it seems like there are a lot of you getting it right. Well done to everyone who guessed Mvula. The last leopard we saw sitting in that exact spot was the quarantine male who he has been spending a fair bit of time with, which is very unusual. Oh, Vim, there's a bird we don't see too often as well. A spoonbill on the dam wall. Yeah, African spoonbill. And you can see that very distinctly designed and shaped beak to filter, and to Egyptian geese. To filter little crustaceans. Oh, and he's up on the move. Oh, he looks like he has fed, but let's see if we can stick with him. Should be a gap through here somewhere. Tax is going to shoot around to the other side. We're going to try to sneak through here. We're in a much shorter car. It enables us a little bit more maneuverability. Let's have a look as he dropped down. He's having a drink. Let's get him to the right spot. There he is, having a drink right in front. What I'm going to try to do is get around so we can get opposite him. I'm just going to get you a quick side on. Yeah. How's that, Tim? I think rather get this, make sure of it, because if we rush around to the other side, it might be too late. And those who hear that sort of that's just my camera going. I encourage you guys to take some screenshots as well, and remember to put them on the Safari Live Facebook page and share them on Twitter with the hashtag Safari Live. Isn't he beautiful? It feels like I haven't taken pictures of a leopard for an age, and I know Ellen Fowler was asking us, please, to find a leopard. She's been missing leopards. Well, Ellen, I think you owe Taxon for finding this leopard. Taxon and Fanwell. So he's sitting at quite a strange angle, and Deb in Ohio is wondering, has he lost condition in his hindquarters? I don't think so, Deb. I just think he's sitting at a funny angle at the moment. He's actually looking in much better condition than the last time I saw him. Excuse me, guys. I have a tickle in my throat this morning. Oh, look at that. He's going to walk straight towards us. You can see those jowls of the male leopard. So guys, he's now about 3 feet away from us. You can see how close he's coming. He's going to go underneath them. And we can't move just yet. He should pop up on the other side of them. There he is. He's got quite a full belly. He does seem to have a little bit of stiffness in those back legs. Maybe he's picked up a little injury somewhere. But he is getting old, and he's quite an old male now. I hope you guys forgive my clicking away. I haven't seen a leopard for so long. Looks like the flies are really bothering him there. There's definitely stiffness in the back right leg. It looks like he might have picked up a little injury. Nothing too serious. And the good news is, instead of heading north towards our boundary, he's heading deeper into Djuma. I think he might be heading to see if Tingana has made some new scent marks, or whether he can push further into his original territory. Let's move around. That's great, guys. I'm just going to pick our way through this bumpy section here. You can see this is where the water was, and incredibly enough, when I first started, we would have actually been driving in water now. I'm just going to jump up on top here. I can still see him through the gap, so we'll be with him in a few seconds. And there he is. There we go. Oh, so guys, that's important. We must remember where that dung is. So we're going to follow him for a while. I need to go collect a specimen from that dung a little bit later. Nice and fresh, good DNA, so we can figure out which other leopards he's fathered in this area. So Judy's saying Karula or Mvula needs to find Tingana or take over from Tingana in the mating department, because it doesn't seem like he's doing the job. Poor Tingana's virility has been in question quite a lot over the last while. But having spent a fair bit of time with both these leopards, Tingana is definitely the bigger male. Oh, don't go in there. If he goes into that block, it could be quite difficult to stay with him. Oh, into that. He's disappeared into that donga, that drainage system there. With that heavy belly, he might have a kill in the drainage line here, so we're gonna just move around. And it's very difficult to get a vehicle in there. And as you see me, we do drive over a lot of trees when we're out in the bush, but we're very careful about what species we drive over. So we don't drive over any slow-growing species, Tumbuti trees, baby African ebonies, and things like that. And then when we do drive over trees, we straddle them, so which means they pop up after we go over them. So we are about to do some serious off-roading, which I haven't done for a while. So while we try to get in there, we're going to go have a look at Jamie, who's got some ellies with her, and we'll be back hopefully with Mr. Tingana on a kill.
And what an amazing sighting you've just had with Brent. Really incredible, and I think I might even go after the sunrise safari finishes to go and have a look at that male leopard. In the meantime, Jeandre and I found ourselves in the midst of a herd of elephants. This female is very firmly staying close to us to keep us from following too closely. They all walk down the road together straight at us. It's actually a stunning sighting. And somewhere in this herd is a tiny little baby, but it's hidden away in the bushes. When I can, I'll reposition, but I don't want to unsettle them or upset them. They're so nice and relaxed with us. She's busy dusting away at the grass as she's eating, but every now and again you'll see her ears flap. There we go. Oh, no, there's the grass being beaten. And those just ever so gentle flaps of the ear, a great way to cool the elephant down. And Anna Marie, you were wondering, does it cool the whole body down of the elephant? And yes, absolutely it does, because the blood, there's so much blood running through each ear in those very, very fine, sorry, I'm still coughing, very fine capillary networks. And it cools the blood down and then is pumped throughout the elephant's body. So basically like an internal air conditioning. Hello, big girl. You're beautiful. Very thick tusks for a female. Hello. Yes. Hello, Trouble. Hello, little girl. Definitely not going to be going anywhere right now. Amazing how comfortable elephants are with our presence, as long as you let them come to you. That female almost could have touched, she definitely could have touched the car if she wanted to. It's just a matter of respecting their personal space. I'm sure that many of you as we're sitting with this incredibly peaceful elephant herd, and I'm sure many of you will have seen that video that went around on social media fairly recently of the elephant killing a buffalo. And Sherry, you were wondering if this is normal behavior. And for the most part, no. We don't know what happened in the build-up to that story in terms of what happened with the elephant. It does happen with young bulls, and there were some very severe recorded cases about 10 years ago or so, in a time just after they stopped culling in Kruger National Park. So they used to employ the method of culling as a way of controlling population, but what they do is they left the calves and they relocated the calves, and they relocated a couple of young males to a different reserve, and they grew up without the proper family structure. And as a result, when they did hit puberty, it turned into aggression, and they started killing things like rhino. So it has been reported to happen. I would say it is unusual. It's definitely not something that elephants do on a regular basis. For the most part, they are very peaceful animals. And I know I mentioned that story of the elephant that saved the baby hippo from a hyena a couple of days ago. But that being said, sometimes they chase things. They're throwing their weight around, and it can just take one wrong move from the animal that they're chasing to turn it into an aggressive response. They're learning that way. It's very unusual, but it does happen. I'm going to shift forward a bit so we can stay with our Ellie family. They've sort of split off the two herds. I don't know if it was two herds or one herd, but a couple of them have split off to the left and some of them off to the right. Here's our Bubba. We stop here so Mommy can cross the road. Here's the little one. What you doing, little one? What's going on? Baby's playing and investigating its world. Cute. Going and investigating other members of the herd as well. We'll shuffle forward now. Go very, very slowly. And I'm watching Mom's behavior most of all. Stop here. And the whole herd will rally round and protect this little one. Oh, she's so cute. It's a little baby girl. Look at the pink behind her ears. You can see it clearly on a little one where the skin is so soft and thin. You can see how much blood is flowing through those little ears. And they're wonderful at that age because they're busy learning and busy playing. Right, Ellies. Now, I know that yesterday James saw some really interesting behavior from the elephant herd that he was with, where he saw a young male protecting a calf, a small calf. And when I drove in, I noticed that one of the young males was also doing that. Not completely in the same way that James experienced, but a very similar protective response. Young male. He's moved off now. And that's the thing, their behavior is so complex that to tell you why that elephant went and took it out his frustrations on that buffalo, I'm honestly not too sure. As I make my way a little bit closer, I'm actually going to stop here. I don't want to cause them too much distress. We will get a better view in a moment, but let's just wait here for now because the herd is on either side of us. And they're slowly moving through and feeding. And at the moment targeting a lot of knob thorns. In fact, that's a perfect example. That elephant is pushing it around so that it can get into it. And it brings me to Kara's question. Now, Kara's watching all the way from Seattle in Washington. And Kara, you were wondering if elephants only eat the trees that we're seeing now, or if there's ever any kind of shortage of food. And in this area, a shortage of food is very unlikely. They're essentially capable of feeding on pretty much every tree that we see here, even the ones that are toxic to you or I, like tamagotchis. And they can also supplement their feeding with grass, especially during the summer months where there's plenty of nutrition within it. Hello, big girls. There can be areas and certain times where this one is eating an acacia. If there is a drought over a sustained period, then elephants do die of starvation. And I actually think that starvation, in terms of statistics, is the second biggest killer of elephants after man. So it does happen, generally not in the area that we're in at the moment though. It's a very different habitat. It's quite a high rainfall area. There's plenty, as you can see, we're sitting in woodland. We're not sitting in the deserts of areas like Namibia or Botswana. But it does happen. For the most part though, for an animal that needs to eat almost constantly, they do bear up to shortages of food very, very well. They've got plenty of body weight to fall back on. But even a little elephant like this needs about 250 kilograms of food a day. That's a lot of food. And not only that, but he's going to defecate about half of that out again. They've got very inefficient digestive systems. As we watch these ellies disappear into the block, and I think this might be our last view of them, so I'm glad we got to see them as they go, especially that little baby. Now, Eric in Idaho, you were wondering how big baby elephants are when they're born, and we saw that little one. That little one is probably a couple of months old. Little elephants when they're born are absolutely minute, probably about, I would say, 3/4 of the size of the one that we just saw. So not quite half its size, but about 3/4. They grow so fast, and they're very cute and very uncoordinated and rather fuzzy looking as well. And speaking of fuzzy looking things, I believe that Brent has found something on Jigger that he would like to show you. Let's head across to him for now, and I will catch up with you a little bit later.
So, unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's got a kill, but I'm going to pop my finger. That's him there, the end of my finger, sleeping in a really thick drainage line. I think he's probably dropped in there to get away from the flies that were bothering him. But we can now go from one cat to another. I just need to find a little stick cable, or use my binoculars. And this cat, in my opinion, is far more dangerous than the one sleeping in the drainage line. And it nearly fell on my legs, and that would have been a very uncomfortable experience. It's going to come out behind the steering wheel. No, where are you going? There we go. So it's one of the hairy caterpillars, and they are incredibly uncomfortable and itch and cause quite a large welt. He's a very fast moving one. I'm just trying to get him to face towards you. Oh, there we go. There we go. So this will be one of the larval stage of a moth. I'm not sure what. I've taken some pictures of it, and I'll send it off to a friend of mine who's an insect expert, and hopefully she'll be able to identify it for us. But very pretty. Beautiful little creature. And those defensive spines to make sure no one tries to eat. And we're going to relocate it shortly to an area that it might not find VM and I, because as I said, that on your bare skin is a thoroughly unpleasant experience. There you go. I'm just gonna put him back on the tambuti tree that he fell out of a tambuti, so come on. Come on. There's what it seems to like my book more than the tree. Okay, sorry. We have to do this the hard way. There we go. We tried to do it the kind way, and he just wasn't playing along. We can literally barely see it. See it in Mvula. He is, as I said, you can just sort of see those rosettes through the thick stuff there, just a little bit to the right. You can see his heavy belly breathing. There is his belly, and you can see he's got quite a full belly, and he's found a nice spot away from the flies where he's going to rest up. We will try one more spot to see if we can get a view. If not, I know what we definitely can do while we wait for him to move. There's two other vehicles at the other side of the drainage line trying to get a good visual. But, we are going to go collect some leopard feces. I have my leopard feces collecting kit with me. For those of you who are not sure why we're doing this, there is a project run by an incredible organization called Panthera, and they do a lot of conservation of big cats. Watch your squirrel. Yeah, I have heard him. I think he might have seen as he came through, because he started calling as Mvula came through here. And they're busy working on paternity of the leopards of the Sabi Sands. So a lot of people, the squirrel is going quite bananas. Could be a bird of prey that the squirrel's seen, but let me just finish telling you about Panthera. So a lot of people will say sort of Mvula is the quarantine's father or Nkuhumas' father. It's most likely that he is, but it's also possible that he's not. So because female leopards mate with multiple males, and any male they might possibly come into contact with in their territory, it's near impossible to be 100% sure on leopard paternity. So what they've been doing is collecting dung from all the leopards around, and hopefully we're going to be able to get some results from that in the not too distant future, and we'll know a little bit more. There was a bird of prey that took off. I think that's what's causing the squirrel to shout. I know what Vim was thinking. He was hoping it was quarantine. Me too, Vim. So, Mvula's quite an old male, and coming sort of towards the end of his prime years. If I remember correctly, he's probably just under 11 now, which means he's probably been a territorial male for about 4 or 5 years, maybe a little bit longer. And in the wild, male leopards very seldom reach more than sort of 12, 13 years old. In captivity, they have been known to live quite a bit longer. I think we're going to go through here. up to sort of 20 because they don't have to fight. And Mvula, and that's Boyd was wondering what is the average age of a leopard. Recently, one of the leopards I was most fond of when I worked in the Sabi Sands a long time ago was a male leopard called Campan male. He is now the oldest recorded male leopard. Oopsie. And he has died as far as I know, but he was about 15 or 16. So that's very unusual for that to happen. But I say Mvula is probably 11, maybe a little bit older. So while we get back towards that leopard dung, let's see what Jamie's got scuttling across the earth.
Whilst Brent goes off in search of some smelly leopard scat, we found a rather smelly terrapin just around the dam. I'm slowly making my way back towards the lions, but I keep getting distracted by all of the wonderful things that we've been finding. Also looks to me to be a hinge terrapin, speaks hinge terrapin. And essentially the hinge refers to part of the carapace, so the shell, that can move and flap and cover up the legs when they're tucked away. And I'm not sure where this little guy was on his way to, quite possibly the dam, before we interrupted his progress. It's a really nice moment to just stop and consider him and the difference in shape from a tortoise and a terrapin head. And when I say they're smelly, I'm not joking. Definitely not something that you want to pick up. They have quite a strong chemical defense system in terms of smell. Now, I would not have wanted to keep you too long from the collection of Mvula's leopard scat. So we'll head back across to Brent, and I'm going to continue on my way to the lions, and we'll leave this terrapin on his journey. I'll catch up with you a little bit later.
Isn't that incredible? You can see there's already dung beetles that are taking advantage of Mvula's scat. I'm going to have to steal some of it from them though. And here we have my little feces collecting kit. And I'm going to have to write the date, the species, where it was collected, my name, the individual ID of the animal, the sex, and the approximate age. And obviously, dealing with predator dung is not something you take lightly because the amount of possible parasites and bacteria that are in it, very smelly stuff. So, here we go. So there's silica in the bottom here to keep it fresh and stop it. Oh, see, aren't they clever? They even provide me with a pint-sized pencil in case I start collecting scat and don't know who it's from. And if, you can imagine if you don't fill it in immediately, it becomes very, very difficult. And that must also be filled out. And they also give us a toothpick for poking around in the dung. And just put that back on. Tight, tight. Put the pencil down, don't need that yet. Quite important for dealing with dung. There we go. Oh. Glove on. Pencil we can do afterwards. And you've got to be, one of the other reasons we also use a glove and a stick, you've got to be very careful not to get any human epithelial tissues on the scat, because it can sort of degrade the sample. Now lots of flies, so here we go. I better block my nose for this. Oh, the dung beetle's already rolling off with a piece of his scat. So what we're collecting here, and the little epithelial tissues that are being collected, are, as it passes out, obviously out of his anus, there's quite a little bit of, there's sort of little skin tissues that are collected. But you don't need too much. Nice, breakable piece. Oh my goodness, this is absolutely rank. Oh, oh. Oh, it's very smelly. Oh, oh. That's actually watering. And I consider myself to have quite a high tolerance for smelly things. But this makes a rotting buffalo carcass seem seem very, very mild. Wow. Jim, you want to smell?
Yeah, I can smell it.
You can smell it from there. Wow, you can actually see my eyes are actually watering. Whoa, sure. So now, just quickly, what's the date today? Do you know?
Is it not the first?
Is it the first?
Oh, it's the last.
Location.
Yep, it's the first.
Juma. Species. Leopard. Age approximately, let's say, 10 to 11. Individual ID, Mvula, which means rain, for those of you who don't know. It's quite actually difficult writing with a pencil this small on a cylindrical object. Collector is a Brent, or B, Leo Smith. And the sex is male. And I think that's that. Where's my other little piece of paper? Let me make sure I got everything I need. Okay. This I don't need to fill out. Mike can fill that out. Now another thing is, obviously, there's probably a little bit of stuff around there. So if we want to keep the sample really nice, what you do is you do that inside the rubber glove. It also stops you from getting any nasties on you, and then tie it off so it's sealed. Also helps a bit with the smell, but it makes sure we don't spread feces all over the place. And obviously collecting scientific samples it can be quite a difficult thing, and you have to stick to all the stuff. So you can see we've got one other sample that has already been collected here and added with that. So I've only got one left, so I'm gonna have to actually go ask for a few more vials so we can keep up the paternity program. There we go, put it back in its Tupperware. And that was literally, I mean, I know wild dog dung is worse, but that was very, very smelly. Okay. Oh, look at the spoonbill. Yeah. You can see them using that very distinctly shaped beak to sieve for any aquatic tidbits. How funny looking animals. It's amazing how they've evolved. That's such a specific bill. We're gonna see if we one last peek into the drainage line and see if we can spot that leopard. And if he isn't moving, I think we might move on. I think we'll have to look for him on the sunset safari. But he was in a very precarious spot. Whoops, daisies. we are going to just pop our noses in here, and then if we can't see anything, we'll pop across to Jamie in a second. Oh, did he play the vanishing cat? He was lying in this hole. Well, we're going to try see if we can find him. And in the meantime, we're going to go across to Jamie and see what she's got.
And as you can see, we've been distracted once again whilst Brent's been doing the smelly work of collecting Mvula's scat. We were still on our way to the lines when we bumped into this beautiful pair of saddle-billed storks. They really are quite picturesque. The male on the left, the female on the right. This is the breeding pair that we very often, and I'm sure many of the viewers will have seen them on the Jeandre Dam camera regularly. They seem to love this particular dead tree. And they're perched up there. I think the dam is pretty much free of things for them to fish, but that they might be able to scoop up a terrapin or two from the waterhole, maybe the odd little fish. For the most part, they're going to have to start flying between more permanent water sources, and possibly even relying on other things like insects to supplement their diet. That's beautiful. Big solid birds. I wouldn't want to mess with those beaks that they have. I bet a saddle-billed stork could give you a serious bite. I was bitten by a pelican once. Well, they are beautiful, but it's time to head back and see what those lions have been up to before we reach the end of our sunrise safari. So I'm going to head off. Let's head back across to Brent because I am going to hit a bit of a signal black hole to get there. So we'll head back across to Brent for now, and I'll be back with you very shortly with the lions.
So we've spotted him, but we just can't see him. He's right in that drainage line. We're trying to get you a view. It is proving quite difficult. Chosen a good spot to hide from the flies. Oopsie. I can just see his ears popping out over the edge there now. Hello, big boy. Here he is. I'm afraid that's about as good as it's going to get from here. He's biting at the flies. I can maybe move a little bit forward. Don't know if it's going to improve, just maybe to get past that knob forward, but I don't want to fall into the hole with him. How's that for him? I think that's about as good as we're going to get, I'm afraid, from here. Oh, you can see those flies seriously irritating him. He's still trying to bite them. It's a bit of a futile. And he's probably dropped into this drainage line to try avoid the flies. You can see, let's see him pans up a little bit, how big and thick his neck is, and that's one of the distinguishing features of an adult male leopard. And they need that protection around their neck and head if they do happen to fight. But so great to have caught up with this guy again. I literally have not seen him in months. You can see how tattered his ears are. That's another quite good indication of age in leopards. And that's a lot of that's from flies, but biting. we've had a good look at him on this sunrise safari, and the last time we saw him he was carrying a bit of an injury in his eye, and Lynn, Anna Marie and Judy are saying it looks much better. I agree with you guys, it looks like it's healed almost completely. And as I said, there was quite a lot of discussion about what it was. I thought it was a burst blood vessel, and those heal quite nicely and just take a bit of time. It looks like he has healed wonderfully, so it probably was a burst blood vessel. I mean, he could have got that injury fighting, mating, or just hunting. So there we go, beautiful golden eyes. So if we come out, and Liam will show you now, what looks to be a lump on the inside of his back thigh there is not a lump, it's quite important. You can just make it out through there. Just from the angle from up here, it looks like a lump, but it's actually his testicles. I didn't notice a lump when he was walking. I just looked like he was a bit stiff in the back right. Again, that's probably an injury from hunting, and impala and even a small dyke or steenbok can pack quite a powerful kick, and that delivered into the muscles can be quite sore. And when he jumped down into this drainage, he didn't look like he was hurting at all, so I think probably just a little bit of stiffness. And let's hope he works off that stiffness before one of the ladies finds him. So I'm really hoping he doesn't move a muscle during the day and he just sleeps in this drainage line, because that'll make finding him this evening a lot easier. Unfortunately, I think he might move a little bit during the day. I think leopards move quite a bit during the day compared to the other big cats. There's a nice fat belly, so he's eaten well recently. Had a nice drink. Now in a nice hidey hole, avoiding some of the flies, unfortunately for him not all of them. So it is very, even though it's overcast and cloudy, it's very warm today. Very, very humid. Unfortunately, the rain has stayed away for this safari. So, Mvula is a big male leopard, but definitely not the biggest around here. Donna is wondering, is the Anderson male bigger and older than Mvula? He's not, Donna. He's quite a bit younger. He's probably, I think he's about 7. So well in his prime, and he is bigger than Mvula. I haven't personally seen him, but from what Scott and everyone tells me, he's bigger than Tingana as well, and Tingana is bigger than Mvula. So he's the biggest male leopard around at the moment. Well, we're going to sit here just in case he does disappear, but while we do that, let's go have a look at some other kitty cats with Jamie.
And not a bad way to continue our morning, from a flat Mvula to a pile of lions that I have not seen in ages. It's so good to see this pride again. And of course, to see Junior as well is wonderful to see him. He's looking happy and healthy. Absolutely nothing wrong with him. Also covered in flies, as lions generally are. Now, I'm chatting a little bit about the biting flies that are swarming all around them. And there's a couple of them around the back of his legs. And there's constant twitches from tails and ears. And Lucy, you wanted to know, you've asked an interesting question, whether or not the flies biting them can pass on any diseases. And as far as I know, not in this area. It's not really a risk that they experience. And given the lion's state of hygiene, I wouldn't be surprised if they pass on something to the flies. But no, as far as I know, there's no diseases that are carried in this particular area. Obviously, in different parts of Africa, there are things like tsetse flies that bite, and their bite is a lot more painful, and it can pass on diseases. But for the most part, it's not what the lions have to worry about. Oh, so tired. And although the flies don't really pass on diseases, they certainly are an irritation. As we sit and watch these very flat lions, you'll see constant twitches every now and again from ears and tails to get rid of them. We have an interesting question further as to whether or not lions can coat themselves in mud or dirt to help deter the flies. And it's something that I've never seen happen, to be completely honest. I don't think that they do. So Calvin in Boston, that was a clever question, because it's something that we see things like buffalo and elephant do on a regular basis, and that is part of the reason, but it's not something that lions will tolerate on their fur. I've never seen them do it. I've seen them roll in dirt every now and again, but I think that's more just a pleasurable feeling. I don't think it's to really help deter flies. And these flies are biting, and I know that Brent mentioned they suck the blood from the lions. And Claire, you wanted to know how much they would eat in one sitting, or how much blood they would suck in one sitting compared to a mosquito. And the answer is, I'm hazarding a guess more than anything else. I honestly don't know the answer to that. I would say it is more than the mosquito would suck, because they're just larger in size. As for exact volume, I would be making things up if I tried to tell you. I honestly don't know. I can't imagine it's enormous. It's certainly not something that's going to cause a risk of death by a blood loss. It just must be really, really irritating to be constantly nipped. And it's something that the flies were doing to me yesterday in the pool as well. They were landing on me to get the moisture and then biting me just for the fun of it as well. You can see it's something that Junior didn't appreciate there. Oh, it's so nice to see these guys. The only two I've seen in a long time were the two females with that buffalo kill, and even that was a long time ago, when they were chased off by the Birmingham boys. That could be them there. It's quite hard for me to tell at this angle, but I think that might be them. Now, if you are a new viewer, there's quite a lot of backstory to this, but I'm not going to go into this in too much depth. But essentially, when I say that I haven't seen these lions, they were quite severely disrupted by the presence of 5 young males who came in to try and claim this territory as their own. And that is why I was only seeing the 2 females who were then chased off by the Birmingham boys off that buffalo kill. And the Birminghams also killed one of the lionesses and one of the sub-adult lionesses. And we honestly were quite worried about Junior as well, in terms of being a young male in competition. Now, the thing that we haven't seen the Birmingham boys in quite a while. Well, I saw them on Arathusa, but we haven't seen them in this area. And Jeandre, you were wondering if, because they haven't really stuck around Djuma to the point that the Nkuhumas have reunited and Junior still feels safe to hang out with them, and you were wondering whether or not it's a sign of their immaturity. And I don't think so necessarily. I think it's still part of an ongoing process. They're still testing the boundaries of their territories, and they feel as though this particular area has been well and truly conquered. And they've been mating with a couple of the Nkuhuma lionesses, albeit very ineffectively, and that was a sign of their immaturity. The fact that Junior is still here, I think he hasn't, the Birmingham boys, because they've been distracted running around trying to test boundaries and reinforce boundaries, I don't think that they've chased him away as much as they should. But it will happen. He will get to the point where he's got to move off on his own. I think the fact that he is on his own is also a reason behind why he hasn't left, because he doesn't have that protection and camaraderie that, say, the Birmingham boys have had. But they are immature, and I think that was part of the reason for all of that conflict between the Nkuhumas and the Birminghams. But I don't think necessarily that they've abandoned Djuma or that they haven't established it. I think it is part of their territory now. But they must be careful, because there's 2 big Salati males up in this corner of Buffelshoek. And there's a chance that if they stay away from Djuma too long, those males might think of pushing down in here, just like they did a couple of months ago. But an interesting question, and it's something that I'm speculating on. We don't know for sure. There's no way for us to know. Oh, this is definitely the way that I wanted to end off my morning, seeing this pride happy and united once again, and looking very comfortable. They no longer have those nervous twitches or anything like that. But it is time for me to say goodbye to you all, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for joining us. I've had a fantastic time, and I do hope that you have too. And as always, a big thank you to Jeandre for all of his fantastic spotting, listening, and camera work. And I'm going to say goodbye. Have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. Let's head back across to Brent with his Mvula sighting for the last few moments of your sunrise safari. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
So, as you can see, we are still sitting with a quite well hidden Mvula, dominant male leopard in the north here. And it's so exciting to see him. I haven't seen him in such a long time, and I haven't seen leopards in a while, so really nice to have a leopard, and specifically this leopard, back on property. And again, a big thank you to Taxon and Fanwell, who joined us at that lion sighting. And while we were off air, I said to Tax, okay, I found you lions now, it's your turn, please go find me a leopard. And not even 6 minutes later, across the radio, as you link back to us, I got Taxon saying, I'm full, I found you a leopard. So isn't that exciting? There you can see he's right in this little almost crevice on the head of a drainage line, and it's a good spot to be for him, and a little bit away from the flies, water close by, and there's a good chance as well that Inyala or other animals might come drink during the day. Even though he's got a full belly, one must remember that predators are opportunists to the nth degree and will take any chance to get a meal. And great to have the Nkuhumas on property. And I know you spent some time with Jamie and elephants. And great birds this morning as well. Saddle-billed stork, spoonbills. What other birds did we see? Yeah, I think those are the really nice ones. For me, the spoonbill, really great to see. Not something we see too often, especially since we have got so little water around at the moment. And the hippos still at Buffels Hook. The little one there, we'll definitely be keeping an eye on them. Oh, we have movement in the drainage line below us. No, I think that's just a scratch. And I'm hoping he stays in the spot for the rest of the safari. Oh no, he looks like he's up and going to move. But we are right at the end of the safari. So it has been great having you with us. Thanks for all the questions. And I know you guys are as excited as me about seeing Mvula again. I'm definitely going to try follow up on him on the Sunset Safari. So don't forget to join us then.